All right, folks, our guest has arrived. We are here. We are ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and bring him out here in just a second. Like I say, this is a interesting person spotlight. We have an artist with us. They're going to share a little bit about their art and their passion to us. I'm going to play with the audio a little bit when they get here. They had a little bit of a quietness going on, but we're going to pay attention to that. If you guys can't hear them, please let me know in chat. All right, folks? But here we go. Let's go ahead and bring them on. All right, let's see here. This one. Ha! There they are. How you doing today? Can you go ahead and introduce yourself to us?
Hey, my name is ARIAKE. You can find me as It's ARIAKE in most places, including like Discord, Steam, all that stuff. Spotify, everything. That's my name on everything. But yeah, I've been a musician for nearing 10 years now. I started when I was like 13, and I've been just like improving slowly over time. And now I'm here. And I'm excited to talk to people, to talk to you, and to talk about my life.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So
She did it for me, never mind.
I'm sorry, say again?
I said she did it for me, never mind, we're good.
I love it. I love it. Oh, you've got your mod in the chat helping out. That's awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Let's see here. You say you started making music when you were 13?
Yeah. Me and a friend of mine, his name is Sam. He is like, if you ask who's my best friend, anytime, even if I'm 80 years old and I haven't talked to him in 60 years, he's still the first person that comes to mind.
Really awesome.
We started music together on like a small site called Jam Studio. What you could do is there was like loops that you could like put together, and you could change the key of each like guitar loop or piano loop. You could put like a drum set behind it. So we would just mess with those and make like full songs out of those, and we would like share them back and forth. But it was only between the two of us. Like no one ever really heard our stuff because there wasn't really a community on that website. It was just between the two of us. And then I was looking for something a bit more in depth, and I came across a website called Soundation, which is where most of this story takes place. It's where me and him got our like first start. It's where we both learned how to do music. There was a community connected to Soundation and everything, and it was just like a really incredible time. So this was like 2013. We both created accounts. We were both making music, again, still out of like pre-made loops that we never like created. We didn't fashion any of it, but it was still fun to like put stuff together.
Okay, so you were using this program or this thing called Soundation, and you were using like pre-made, so audio samples, audio loops, parts of songs that you were getting from somewhere else, and you were making music using these and using this program?
Yeah, I can actually give you a example.
Fantastic. I will bring the screen up, and I'm going to go ahead and show our viewers so they can now see what's on your screen too.
Yeah. So this is the first project that I ever made in the Soundation Studio. It's an in-browser DAW, digital audio workstation, which is actually pretty cool. It's one of the only ones.
Fantastic. Does it cost any money? Is this free? Can all of my viewers go to Soundation and just use this if they want to make music of their own?
Yes, they can. Although there's some stipulations and stuff because we live in the age of where everything has like a premium mode. There is like a premium that you can pay for. But a lot of the stuff now is accessible if you're just completely free. Like this, you can do completely free. We know how it sounds. That's the pretty much the general idea of this. I just kept looping the same stuff together, but all this you can do for free. It doesn't really take much work. It's just like you look through on the side here. These are all my projects, but this is like the free library of all this stuff, and You can go through the library and choose whatever sounds you want, and you can listen to them to see how they sound. And then you can, mess with that stuff. And it was a bunch of fun. But later on is when I discovered something called MIDI. It's where you can actually create like notes and sounds without having to use samples ripped from something else.
So before we
And the
dive
first
into
thing-
MIDI, that last thing that you played for us, that was all like sounds that you just pulled out of the library, you kind of mixed them together, and then you made that entire, I want to call it a piece or
Yeah.
song that we heard?
Yeah.
That's
So
incredible.
that's
And
super easy for anyone to do, super intro level.
about how long do you think that it took you to craft that piece?
Probably 20 minutes. I made that
Really?
before I went to Boy Scouts for the night when I was 13. And I
Holy
was showing
Hannah.
my dad the thing in the car. And I was like, look at this thing I made, Dad. This is so cool. I was so excited.
Wow, that was incredible for a 13-year-old like that. That sounds like really high quality audio, music, good. Wow, I love it. Continue. Go on about MIDI, please.
So this is going to be a bit rough. This is my first MIDI track. The first time I placed notes with an intent to like make music. The first time I created sounds without like using synthesizers, using sound banks, all that stuff. And it's a little rough. But
So-
this is where I started, and I just want to give you like an idea of where I started and where I am now, and
So
where anyone watching can start.
So this is going to be you're actually creating the sounds. We're playing with the sine waves and creating sounds. We're not just like adjusting pitches of already existing sounds. We're like making a synthesizer digitally.
Yeah. This is the first time I ever tried that. 'Cause
Fantastic.
I did like the pre-made sounds. I did that for a very long time before I was like, okay, screw it, let's do MIDI. Because I was scared.
I'm not sure if the audience remembers, but we had Comrade Rains on a couple of weeks ago who explained to us his modular synthesizer and explained how he makes sounds and how he creates sounds using physical like objects, and he's buying modules and installing them into a synthesizer. So this is like the same kind of concept, except this is all digital. This is incredible, and I feel like I'm picking up where I left off on my last lesson. Please continue. I'm fascinated.
All right, so I'm gonna started. Yeah. Yeah, as you can see, it's a bit rough. But like I just want to show that like it's not anything to be ashamed of. Stuff that when you're new, everyone starts at some point. And this is where I started.
Well, I think that you might have a skewed perspective. I think that that was incredible. How long ago did you make this? Like, how many years in the past are we
This-
looking?
This one was in probably about June of 2013.
So, okay, we've got the beginnings of vaporwave and synthwave, but this is like a retro chip tune. Like, this sounds like some dubsteppy, like Game Boy MIDI audio. This is fantastic. I love it. It sounds great. It reminds me of like Lavender Town out of the Pokemon games. This is good music. I like this track a lot, as a matter of fact.
That's funny. Yeah, and then the next like big standout track that I made was called Nemesis, and it was the first thing that I was like actually really proud of, and I wanted people to hear. And it was the first time that I made an attempt to write chords, and that would be a big change for me.
Chords are difficult. This is going to be interesting. I do like harmony.
So here we go. was, oh yeah, that was like the breakthrough thing for me. Thinking I was like, yes, I am so happy. The first thing that made me feel that like rush and that joy of creation. It was this that like really got me started, really got me hooked into making music.
Yeah, this is awesome. It has some hardcore Castlevania vibes. We've got some really good like Gregorian chant kind of like 1-4-4-1 chords going on in there. I'm really into it. I like the progression that you have. I've got people in my chat. I don't know if you're reading chat. They say, how do I pay this person for music to listen to all day while they're working? And then do they have an album that we can buy? I didn't see anything like that on their webpage. And then it looks like your moderator is sharing a flow page with people so that they can find your things. I'm very excited. This is fantastic. Please continue.
Okay. So I'm just gonna kind of go on like a journey of like my progression through music and how long it took, honestly, for me to reach my current skill level to the point where I can like say that I feel my music belongs on Spotify, on Apple Music, on YouTube Music. I certainly didn't think this back then, but this is the first time. So, okay, I'll preface this. Long ago, about 7 years ago, the community was probably at its peak in terms of activity, amount of users, amount of people. And each month, the one track would be featured. Out of every track made, out of every song made, people would recommend songs to be featured. And my first song featured ever was this. And it was featured for an entire month and got over 3,000 plays, which is an unreal amount for the time. So, I actually really want to remake this, because it's kind of special and dear to me. But here we go. Time messing with triplets. Yo,
I like it.
that was stroke of genius. I don't know if you could catch that in the description of the track, but it was actually created in one sitting. That's how long that was. So somewhere between 4 and 6 hours after school in sophomore year of high school, I sat down at my computer and I worked on that for like 4 to 6 hours, and I posted it, and I was like, I'm so proud of this.
Whoa, sadistic jokes. Thank you so much for subscribing. Tier 1 for 6 months. I really appreciate it. Thank you for coming by. Thank you, thank you, thank you. YWYA. Where you at? We are currently interviewing ARIAKE about his music that he creates. That was a fantastic track, by the way, ARIAKE. I really liked the more acoustic, natural instrumentation on it. You really did a lot of things with harmonies, and then you started playing with your polyrhythms. I liked the triplets and the transition of time. Like, you really, did a dramatic shock in it. Not that I know anything about music, but your key changes in there were fantastic along the way also, and I can definitely see the progression as we're moving through time at this point. Continue, I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, the next thing that I want to show is the next time I got featured. So these are all fun tracks, but I think I'll leave them for a different discussion. But this one is pretty cool. So I forget exactly how long this took me, but it took a very long time. Every single day I got home from school, I would get on the computer and I would work on this until it was time for dinner, and I'd go back on the computer after dinner and I would work on it until it's time for bed. And then I'd go back to school and repeat that thing until I finally felt like I was finished with this track. And for that, it got featured, and I was so happy, and I felt so validated.
Wait, featured where?
Featured as in on the front page of the website.
On
So all of these tracks are made by other people on the website that are featured by the people who moderate the website, who own the website.
So the people that make the website found your song, picked it out, and said, this is what we want to represent our brand and our website. Let's put this on our front page.
Yeah, when you put it that way, yeah.
That's freaking epic, man. That's incredible. That's professional musician level stuff. That's freaking awesome. And you were still in school at this point.
A lot of us were. Most of the top users, so all the people on the top users, I'm currently in 3rd place. This is my best friend from before, actually. Most of us are friends, and a lot of us have actually met in real life, although I have not been able to attend one of these meetings. But we've all been friends for years because of this. And, making music together and learning together, it's, created a friendship that I don't think will ever break.
That's awesome. So it was a social media, community building, professional networking, how fantastic. What an amazing place. What's the name of this website again? Can we get a link?
So, this is Soundation. Now, I don't know what page it'll immediately bring you to. I could just do the users so you could explore.
There we go. Thank you very much for the link. Everybody, Soundation. Go check it out. Go make an account. If you guys are interested in a free digital audio workstation that you can use right in your browser on any kind of a device, it looks like, go take advantage of that. That looks incredible.
Excuse me. Now, this one is Gargoyles, the one that I was talking about earlier.
Gargoyles, I like them.
You can look at some of these comments from 7 years ago. Ding. So that was Gargoyles, and that is one of my all-time favorites of mine. I'm in love with the progression, so much in fact that I decided to recreate the entire thing in different fashions. So I'm actually going to change the stream.
That was awesome, by the way. The difference between that one and the previous one, very dramatic. Like, keeps getting better and better and better. I mean, this is, again, we're starting to get like to what is mainstream nowadays, but you were doing this years ago. This is incredible. This is awesome. I absolutely love it. And man, oh man, this is awesome. What a pleasure to meet you.
So someone in chat asks why Gargoyles, and quite honestly, you're gonna maybe find this a bit hard to believe, but whenever writing a song, it would generally not have a name. The project would be whatever first name I came up with when writing like the first chord progression. So this chord progression I guess it's not playing right now. But the chord progression in the song I thought of, I just closed my eyes and I think, I wonder what this song could be, and I imagined everything in my head, and I was thinking, I could see this, in like a Batman movie, him standing next to like a gargoyle or something, and I was like, Gargoyles works. I think I like that noise, that word for this, and I renamed the track Gargoyles and continued to add on to it. And like 80% of all the things that I work on, the name just happens to be whatever comes to mind first whenever I listen to it, because I want the name to like fit with the music.
Interesting. I like it. I mean, that's a good way. Naming things is always a very difficult thing to do. Some people start with the name, some people start with a tune, some people start with, I don't know, all sorts of different places. But it is important to try to get everything to match up so that it feels right.
Now, this is also Gargoyles, and this is the remake of Gargoyles that I've been working on. It's unreleased currently, but it will be released with a few other things in an EP or extended play.
So this is brand new. This is a current project. This is unreleased, never before heard. Somebody online exclusive here on Twitch.
Yeah.
My gosh, how exciting.
Yeah. So let's get into it, and then you can ask me some questions. What I want to do with this one is I want to like single out some of the sounds in here and show them off and like what they do for the song. Because it's not just about like, how it all sounds together, because that's very important, but also like how it really is to come up with this stuff, because I only hear one thing at a time usually while I'm working on it, and then I put it all together.
Sure, yeah, and you have to kind of do it in your imagination. Like, you hear all the individual sounds, and you play them all back, and then you make the computer do it for you.
Mm-hmm. So first we're going to listen to it, and then we're going to analyze. So, here we go. Yeah, okay, good. So that is the remake.
I
What
love
I
it.
originally did was I took these chords from the original, and then I just kind of put them into FL Studio 20, which is what I use today as opposed to Soundation. And I play with the chords, I play with the melodies, with the instruments, and I ended up with all of this.
Very interesting. Very interesting. This sounded very similar. Obviously, we're based on the same chords, the same progression, but extremely different. This had like a super outlast, outrun, like sort of a feel to it. I had people in chat saying like old school driving games, race cars, airplanes, like afterburner. That's the word I want to use. Afterburner music.
Yep. And the thing is that I never really go for any genre or style. At the start of a project, it is usually just this sound, something like this, where it's just these chords. And I'll think, okay, I wonder what melody could I put with this that'll sound good. And so I'll go into a different synthesizer. This is Silent One of my favorites. And I'll mess with all of these settings with like the arpeggio. So originally this did not have an arpeggio and it sounded like this. Right? And then I said, okay, maybe I can add an arpeggio and give this a bit more flavor. So now it sounds a bit like that. And then I put the chords into it, and it sounds like so. And it gives it this like really cool Blade Runner Tron Legacy kind of vibe that I really love.
Yeah, very
So
cyberpunk.
I put that as a backtrack to these chords with the kick, of course, and I decided to go with a very deep, powerful, punchy kick so that you feel it each time it hits, it punches you.
Jade the Green, I believe that game was called Neon Drift that Sky Command was playing with the car and the music. Yeah, it does sound extremely like a track out of that Neon Drift game. Have you ever played that game, Ariake?
I have not.
The music sounds like the music that you're making. Like, you should get in touch with their sound department and tell them that they need to quit because they have a new sound designer.
And get paid while doing it. That'd be fun. And I wanted another back sound to it, so that it's not just these. Because without this, let's get rid of this sound for a moment. Without this, it doesn't sound nearly as like epic, big proportions kind of thing. You know, like it still sounds good. I still very much like this, but it doesn't hit the same until you turn it on. And that's the general idea behind like how I make music. I just kind of listen to things and think about what would be good next. What would be good with this? What would sound good with this? What does this make me think of? How does this make me feel? And I try to recreate that. And that's how I make music. It's probably the simplest and most straightforward way to make music, because it is just trial and error.
Yeah, I see where we're like layering things on top of things. We're starting with like a foundation, and then okay, what's going to sound nice, and then we kind of put another layer on top of it, and then okay, what would sound nice with this, and then there's another layer, and it's all kind of built on the same sort of pattern, but we're just adding little modulations and variations as we go until we get something that's as rich and as deep as what we're hoping to get.
Yeah. And hopefully by the end, whenever I'm finished with the track, it sounds like the just natural progression of music from start to finish. And that's what I want. Oops, I'm sorry. That's what I want every track to feel like. I want it to feel like a story from start to finish, feel like a journey from start to finish, a thing that it takes you on. That's like my favorite kind of music, and that's the kind of music that I want to create for other people.
Fantastic. So this is your most recent project, I'm assuming, that we're working on now?
Yes, this is one I'm putting a lot of time into.
How long have we been working on this particular variation of this?
A few months, like a few hours put into it here and there. It's not the same thing of where I get home from work now instead of school, and I work on it every day. It's like I'll be sitting here playing a game with friends, and I'll randomly have ding. There's an idea for a song I haven't worked on in 2 months, and then I'll hop into FL Studio and I'll work on it,
I can
and I'll
appreciate
put it all
that.
together, and then it'll spark a bunch more stuff. Usually, I just like I absolutely hate forcing music. I hate like being under a time crunch and forcing it into a certain style or genre. I just like to follow where it goes, and if I can't think of anything, I will leave the project to the side until I can think of something. And once I do, usually that opens the floodgates to more and more ideas.
Yeah, that's good. That's kind of the way that you have to do it. I mean, you can't force art. It never works that way. So, how often would you say, like every couple of months, you sit there and play with your music? How often do you feel like you are pursuing this? I guess is my question.
Well, it really depends on the project. Like this project, I come back to every few weeks and work on it with an idea. But some projects, I will like actively work on for days at a time, for weeks at a time, and still not feel like super satisfied that they're finished. Um, and sometimes I will create a project. I'll like be really into it for one day, and then completely lose interest for like 3 months. So overall,
Really?
on music in general, I'm usually working on something every day, every other day, but it's on different projects.
Okay. Okay. So, how many projects do you have that you're working on simultaneously now?
I have my work in progress or whips. They're sorted into three different categories: finished projects, funny projects, and serious projects. And currently, I have about 12 things in serious projects.
Good gravy. And how old is the oldest one? And how old is the newest one?
The oldest one in serious projects is from October of 2021. That was when I started that one, and the newest one is from last week.
Actually, chat's asking if you wouldn't mind playing another song for them. They really like your music. Do you have anything else in your completed projects?
In my complete I do. We can even look. Okay, you know what? We'll do a little game. Random number 1 through 4.
I like three.
3. Uh, my girlfriend will like this one. This
You
is
hear that? This one's for you, sweetheart.
It's true. Right. This is a project called Stargazing, probably my most in-depth project to date, at least through FL. Generally speaking, I don't usually experiment with melodies as much. I like harmonies and I like long drawn out kind of stuff. um, I'm not the best with creating melodies because I don't know if I said this earlier, but I have zero, absolute zero formal music training. Everything that I know through music right now is self-taught. I do not know how to read sheet music. I don't know how to play piano, and the limited amount of piano I have played is also all self-taught.
That's
So
amazing.
everything I'm doing here, usually for a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll connect like a MIDI keyboard, like a tiny piano about this big, and they'll play out what they want to hear. They'll play out what they want to hear, like with their fingers. I don't have that luxury. I have to like handcraft all of my chords
Yeah,
because I
that's
don't know
incredible.
how
That's
to actually
intense.
write music that way.
No, that's
But
amazing. So, like, you don't know how to play like the piano, the instruments, but you're playing piano digitally. You don't know music theory, but we're making chords, we're making music happen, and it just kind of rattles its way out. No, that's awesome.
mhm. I have an idea in my head. I create like a full song in my head, and it's my job, my fingers' job, to transport that onto the computer, into the studio, and then into your ears.
I like it. What a way to think about it. That's fantastic.
So this is uh, my girlfriend's favorite project. It's called Stargazing. It used to be called I think it was just smooth because I really liked this chord progression. Okay, we'll move over to like this point in time and play it. So I really liked that chord progression, and so I just called the project Smooth because it was smooth chords. But yeah, here we go. Huh? Yeah.
We have a kitty cat friend now. I love it.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. That's absolutely fantastic. What an amazing track. I don't know if you've noticed, but my "We'll Be Right Back" music isn't working, and I know exactly who to commission for a song now. So, by the way, if you guys need some music made, Ariake's a very busy individual, but I'm sure if the price is right, he might be able to help you to make something or another work.
I definitely could try.
We've got links in chat in case you do want to get in touch with him and go find out about him. Ariake, I am curious about your music and about your process. You make some amazing, beautiful tracks. What do you plan on using them for? Do you have a series of rappers that we're making tracks for? Are we going to have singers dropping fat lyrical ballads on top of these things? What's the goal?
So the goal, and the goal is really just to create my own music. I've never once created something for someone else, because creating music like with room for lyrics is actually a lot harder than you'd think it is. Because this song, if I gave you a microphone, and I don't know how lovely your singing voice is, but we'll assume that it's incredible. If I gave you a microphone and asked you to sing over this, it would not sound good, because I made this with the express intent of being a full song by itself. And so how it works is that the vocal range, depending on who it is, sits around the mid to high range. And so I put a lot of mid and highs into my songs because I don't have any vocals. But if I were to sing over this song, then my voice would not come out very clearly because the song has so much in the mid range, so much in the high range, that you wouldn't be able to hear me. I would sound muddled out.
It would all overlap over itself.
Yeah, I'm not very comfortable or experienced with creating music with that express purpose. So for now, I'm mainly just making music for it to be music by itself.
I can appreciate that. I could definitely see your music in a video game. I could see it in film. I could see you working with animators and video producers to make things. I'm seeing music videos attached to these things, but maybe that's just the creative, collaborative, crazy person that I am, trying to think who I can link you up with to make beautiful art together.
It's one of my personal philosophies that lyrics and vocals should be treated as just another instrument in a song. Because in like a band, everyone puts in just as much work as the lead singer. The drummer puts in just as much work, the guitarist, the bassist, the pianist. They all put in so much work, and they should all be recognized, and it shouldn't just be the lead singer. That's my personal take on it. Might be a hot take, I'm not sure. Personally, I think it's pretty lukewarm. But that's, if I were to have someone like sing over my stuff, their vocals would be treated as just another instrument. Like a lead, of course, it would be a lead, but it wouldn't be like the only thing I work on, the only thing that's focused on for me. I think the backtrack to music is just as important, if not more important, than vocals.
Interesting. I've got actually a couple of people sitting in the waiting room. I think that they might have some questions for you. Do you want to bring them on and see if they have any questions they want to ask?
It's fine with me.
All right, we're going to drag Red 1 Baron in. Let's see what Red 1 Baron has to say. Red 1 Baron, are you with us?
Yeah, what's up?
How you doing, Red 1? We have Ariake here with us. I saw you in the join the show waiting room. I figured you must want to join the show. That's why you were waiting in that room. And so we brought you on so you might be able to ask a question if you have one.
Oh, cool. Yeah, man, I'm down.
Well, you're here now. Go ahead and give it a shot.
What kind of question am I asking?
Well, Ariake's here. He's been talking about his music with us on stream, the things that he's created. Have you been with us? Have you listened to any of his stuff?
No, I don't know anything about it.
Oh, fandabulous. Ariake, why don't you play a little clip of that last Stargazer that we just had?
Sure. I'll do this part, because this is the cool part. This is the crescendo, actually, is the technical term, but whatever. the cool big part of the song.
Fandabulous, fandabulous. I think that it's absolutely fantastic. What are your thoughts, Baron?
Yeah, I had to click watch stream to hear it, but from what I caught onto it, it sounds like it's pretty full, as far as why it's like a wall of sound, what they call it.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, thank you again for joining us today, Red Baron. Looks like you are in the kitchen. We're cooking again.
Yeah, I gotta make. I'm making crock pot Cajun smothered potatoes with sausage and shrimp. Also, the apple cobbler, the in-law cake, all.
Good gravy. Well, Sadistic, you're here with us now. I know you've been listening along with us. Do you have any questions for our guest Ariake?
Questions.
Comments, concerns?
Oh yeah, and I had a question. I don't think I heard the answer to it, but why, when you played Gargoyles, why'd you name that one Gargoyles?
That one is named Gargoyles because I just thought it would be good. It was
when you
really
heard it yourself, you did that?
Yeah, when I was working on it, that was just the first word that came to mind.
Yeah, that was like
usually how most of my stuff is.
Yeah, I completely understand. But when I listened to it the first time and I thought about it, I was like, Interstellar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, that works too.
It was just like 20, I mean, I don't know. But yeah, no, go on, please. I'm here for comedic relief and audience.
I love it. I love it.
I'm going to move to the next project. So that was Stargazing. I didn't really ask you for another number, but I think this one is the best one to showcase.
Yeah, please, by all means. You are the artist.
This is called Grooves Day because it's pretty groovy, and it was on a Tuesday that I finished this. So it's called Grooves Day.
All right, hit me with it.
Yeah. Very different from the last one. is Grooves Day.
We have Golden
Tuesday,
Flames
right?
in the
Yeah.
chat pointing out that today is a Tuesday.
That's a good
Grooves
name
Day.
for that song.
I have a funny story.
It's like, all right. So I listen to a dark shit, all this stuff, right? And Gargoyles made me like feel like it was gonna be this like dark vibe. But then when you played it, it was all it was spectacular. It was it was just like it was light. It was not
Upbeat.
dark.
It wasn't dark.
And it had like twinkles and high pitched tones. Like I thought what a that's great. You shouldn't think, right? But yeah, man. How long have you been producing? Can I get some background on your guy? Because I think I missed the part of the show where he introduced himself.
Sure, let's start over at the beginning just briefly. Ari, you started making music when you were
13.
Yeah.
13.
Yeah.
And you started how, all by yourself doing
On Logic Pro.
I started on a website called Sound. Here, I'm gonna switch to stream again. I started on a website called Soundation.
Yeah.
Well, I started on a website called Jam Studio, but that's kind of like the beta version of me.
No, I've heard of Foundation. That's what they teach you in school sometimes.
Yeah, I've heard. So, I started using the site back in 2013, January 4th. So I'm very close to that for 10 years. It's actually kind of crazy.
Wow, dude. That you have that date somehow.
So I started back in 2013. I was working with like mainly pre-made loops, pre-made tracks, stuff off in the in-studio, off of the in-studio library, right? So I would grab some of these loops, and I would mess them, and I'd just throw them into the thing, and I'd play around with them. And then I started making stuff with MIDI, with synthesizers and sound banks like GM2, which is my current
You
favorite.
explored. So,
Yeah.
but less about that because that's what everyone does after years. But what was your inspiration?
My inspiration, honestly, was just the music itself. I said this earlier, but generally my philosophy with music creation is to follow wherever the music takes me. So I listen to the first the chord progression that I write.
Models or who are your favorite artists?
Oh, okay. Favorite artists. A lot of people you've probably never heard of, but that's good because that means that they can get
That
some
was
exposure.
mean.
Nah,
He has eclectic tastes, is the word.
Have you ever heard of Sonu Nigam and some of the guys who make Bollywood music? I don't know.
I've not known.
Yeah,
So-
we all have that. So point that out.
So
But I'd love to know.
Jay Kutch is one of my favorites. Copycat is one of my favorites. Charles I, rest in peace. I think he just passed away recently, a few months ago.
Who's that gur over there?
Can we pull one out for the homie?
Yeah.
I'll do it.
There you go.
Charles I is incredible.
Rest in
Thank
peace,
you.
my guy.
I love it. I love it. The guys.
Can I ask a question?
By all means, Jade the Green. Thank you for joining us, by the way.
Hi, instant fan, suddenly. And so
Thank you.
I was wondering, is there a way that, I can, trade you money for the musics? So I
What?
can listen to it all day, please?
Wait, to license it?
No, I just want just, a personal to just listen to it all day, please.
So my girlfriend's been posting my links, the flow page in the chat. It has most of the monetized platforms like Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, YouTube Music, but you can also find all of my stuff for free on SoundCloud, which also has some stuff that's not on the paid platforms because they're older,
But do they
a little
pay
bit
you?
less. A tiny bit, yeah. But currently I do not have a portal set up to be paid.
Okay, I know that sometimes people will do digital albums. I do a long commute, and I do lots of computer work, and so I'm constantly listening to music to stay awake. Lo-fi makes me extremely depressed, and this is not that. And I'm just so excited to discover this music. So yeah, just let me throw money at you, please.
Wow, dude. Everything you're saying is what I say shamelessly. So, dude, take this opportunity. It doesn't come often in life.
I actually,
Question?
I want to take this opportunity real quick to point out, everybody, if you guys are out there, if you guys are artists, if you guys would like to be interviewed, have an opportunity to come on, to share your work with other people, to give yourself an opportunity to plug your platforms, to let everybody know what you do and all the amazing things that you do, join my Discord. I'm going to put a link in my chat now. Let me know that you'd like to do an interview with me, and I would love to bring you on. I would love to have a conversation with you, and I would love to have you share what you create with us. What was your other question you said, Jade?
So you mentioned gargoyles and Batman, and I was curious, have you ever seen the cartoon Gargoyles from the 90s?
I have not.
What?
Okay, you gotta watch
How did
that.
you find out about gargoyles then?
I don't know. I just kind of
So-
knew, I guess.
So
I
it's-
do know of it, but I never watched it.
It's very Batman-esque in like the film noir, but it's like if Disney tried to do like Batman, so it's not as dark. I think that it would be fun.
It's a cartoon.
Yeah.
Jared, are you from the 90s?
Aren't we all?
No. Well, kids
Unless-
that are born in 2000 are turning 21 and 22 these days.
That's gross.
Welcome to the world. It's tough.
But yeah, that was just my questions. I'll get with you, Mog, in the DMs. So
Wait.
yes, please.
Jade, hold on now. You can't just come up here and ask questions and leave relentlessly.
But I
You have
want to hear him talk. Like he's like
Great
we're
question,
here for
man.
him, you know?
Yeah, but you've introduced yourself as such character with exposition and good interview questions. Now we must know more about you.
No.
I'm-
Today
I'm
we're
go-
here
I'm
for
going.
Ari. We have
Yes,
Jade's
thank you.
interview scheduled in the future, and Sadistic, we're going to have an interview
Yeah.
with you as well down the road. But today is Ari's day to shine.
Yes, yeah, let's do that. And I will be on the panel tomorrow talking about space stuff. So there's that. But I wanna talk about Ari. Like I wanna hear more about him. So I'm gonna go so we can talk. Okay, love you guys. Bye.
Thank you, Jade. Everybody, just a quick reminder, we do have our space panel. We're going to be back here again tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be talking about the future of space exploration, space travel, space missions. We're going to have some people on that are very interested about things. We're going to be talking about who should be paying for, who should be funding, who should be organizing, and who should be controlling these missions. Should it be private corporations? Should it be national governments? Should it be international organizations? What are the things that these missions should be trying to accomplish? Should we be mining for asteroids? Should we be trying to explore deep distant space? Should we be looking for aliens? Should we be worried about asteroids? Should we be mining asteroids? And when, oh when, are we going to be establishing our colony on the moon? I've got some real estate that I'm trying to capitalize on up there. But anyway, like I say, if you guys are interested in space, in technology, in the future in general, come and join us tomorrow at 9 p.m. Jade the Green and a couple other people are going to be here. But Ari, back to you. Please, please, please. I really liked those songs that you played from your early career. I almost want to ask you to play another one for us. But go on, explain to us a little bit more about the amazing things that you do.
Well, I wouldn't always describe them as amazing. Because
I certainly would. This is my show. It's my opinion, damn it.
Okay. Well, thank you. But I think that just about anyone can learn how to do this stuff. So teach yourself. But yeah, sure. I'd love to go through some older stuff. Let's see. Well, okay. How many pages do I have? So the newer stuff is obviously like the first few pages. So you choose a random page between 1 and 8.
7.
7. Okay. I just went to 1 for no reason. Whee. Let's see what's on 7. We already listened to Gargoyles. We have Child of the Flame, Villainous Peaches, Dystopia, Just Chillax, Wow Effect, Bubbles, Chronicles of Benedict Imler, and Paper Cranes.
Oh man, I like the sound of Paper Cranes. That name jumps out at me.
Those are good names. You got good titles for your stuff. Chronicles of that has to be something. Right?
Okay. So this is Paper Cranes, and I'll play a different one later at the behest of my girlfriend.
Whoa, that was awesome.
It's not this.
Still not following.
Shuritz, Mr. Shuritz. Thank you for following. Thanks for coming by. We're talking to a friendly musician, Mr. ARIAKE. He's sharing his music with us. This is some stuff that he created a long time ago. He's got some much more complex and complicated music that he's developed. But I asked him to go back and play me this song, and he found something that I'm absolutely in love with. I'm going to have to ask him in a second if he can let me borrow it, so to speak. But man, oh man, isn't this incredible? They're asking, can you play Capital Bra? It's a German rapper. Oh no, this is an individual. He's playing his own music. I wouldn't mind playing this person though. If you want to give me a link, we can play them in a moment.
To answer your question from Jade, English is my first language. I guess talk in a certain way that might remind you of a friend of yours.
Well, where are you from?
I'm originally from Kansas City, Missouri.
Kansas.
Missouri side of Kansas City.
Oh shit, Kansas City's in Missouri.
Well, it's on
Is
both.
it?
So Kansas City sits on the
Kansas
Missouri
is a
River.
state, right?
Yeah, it sits on the Missouri River and it's split into two. And the Kansas side, on the Kansas side of the Missouri River, is Kansas City, Kansas, and on the Missouri side is Kansas City, Missouri. The downtown part of the entire city is in Missouri. The Kansas City Royals and Chiefs are both in Missouri. So basically, Kansas City, Kansas kind of sucks, but you didn't hear that from me.
No, well, respect for pointing out that you're from Kansas City, Missouri.
Yeah.
All the good stuff's on this side.
Yeah, you keep your medical license on Missouri.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I had a question too. So you have a girlfriend, right?
I do.
You have a lot of good music, and I always regretted the one fact that I never put vocals on my music, mostly because I didn't think the girls I thought they could sing, and I didn't want to put that on my track. So, but doesn't have to be the same reason here. But yeah, why haven't you explored using more vocal, like all the cliffs and lifts and hypes and drops? It's bound to have good fucking vocals. Now listen, like EDM music, man, this shit, great fucking house music, funk, EDM, and really techno. I feel it intercepting returning waves, right? And the vocals.
So vocals, I said this earlier, my philosophy on vocals is that they are just another instrument. And that not every track needs vocals. Some tracks are better without, some tracks are better with vocals. But for me personally, I am not experienced with creating music that has room for the human voice. Because human voice sits around the mid to high range. And usually I put in a lot of mid and highs into my music because I don't have any vocals. Like, it's an active choice.
I think you're selling yourself short with the active choice and not exploring more into the production though. Look, I know you're fucking restrained or resentment. I can play for my song. You should put vocals on yourself. Dude. A female's voice, a male's voice, but sending a message the music was for. And if you don't
I'd love
have
to learn
words,
how to.
the other thing, when you said music was your vocals are just an instrument, I would dare to say, just like Kanye, vocals are the most intricate and complex instrument ever. Every other instrument and sound was synthesized from the man's hand. God, like this came from evolution, baby. You can hum high, fall in love just with the vocals, right?
Well, I can
You have a real
appreciate.
music and you think it just comes from structure and
While I can appreciate the vocal range, it is just one of many different instruments. I can't say that it is the pinnacle. I think that the Ventures were the last song, band, musical organization to have something hit the top 40 Billboard charts that was instrumental only. There are very popular instrumental songs that do come along. Vocals are a very important thing. I do want to say that I could definitely hear in that last song, the Paper Cranes, that I could hear the rap beat underneath it all. I could also hear where there was the instrumentalization that was placed on top of it, that with both pieces in there at the same time, the song is serving one purpose and not the other. And there's nothing wrong with having the melody. It's a fantastic melody and it's a fantastic harmonization. It makes it into more of an easy listening, lo-fi, chill, background, like music that can exist as your daily background music to your life, like your theme song music, as opposed to if it had lyrics, it would be something that would have to be short, you would get tired of it, and you'd have to rely on the vocalization to be the majority of the creativity. Whereas Ariake, I think that you are the entire creative force behind your work. You have absolute control over everything that you produce, and your music is an absolute pure expression of exactly who you are and what you want to say to your audience. I think it's beautiful, and I think it's fantastic.
I'd say about 80% of the music that I listen to on a daily basis does not have lyrics. And so, like...
does not have vocals.
Does not... Some of them can have vocals, like, okay, my favorite song of all
Look how
time.
Kid Cudi hums.
Yeah, please play any of your inspirations for us. This may potentially mean that the VOD is muted during the sections that we're playing music later on when we're watching it. But by all means, please share whatever you'd like with us. I'm speaking specifically to Ariake because I'm looking for your influences, the things that you're listening to now that are encouraging you to make the music that you're making now. But by all means, play anything that you'd like for us. Share with us anything that you'd like to show us your creative self.
Also, do you
This
play
is my
anywhere in
absolute-
KC? Oh, sorry, I'll be quiet.
No, what are you saying, Baron, please?
Oh, I was gonna ask if he played anywhere in KC, because like I'm bored up here. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go hang and listen to you.
Oh, okay. I mean, I could throw you out if you'd like.
I do not. Well, I am from Kansas City, Missouri, but I currently live in upstate New York with my girlfriend. Moved up here a little under 2 years ago. But I've never done like a live show. Like, I've never had like a DJ set before. I think that'd be really cool. It's not a skill that I've ever really practiced. But it's kind of like a cool thought because I am very comfortable on stage in front of people. I don't really have that kind of like stage jitters that most people do, which is kind of like a superpower, honestly, in this day and age. But yeah, I think it'd be really fun to do like a DJ set with like some other people and play some other friends' music, because I feel like a lot of my friends make music that is so much beyond, so much more than some of the music that's on the radio these days, and I feel like they need some of that.
If you have any of their links, please share them with chat as we are playing their music, because again, if anybody likes their music and wants to hear more of it, I want to enable them to be able to do that as easily as possible if we can.
And dude, somebody else, don't take this wrong, but I think you'll appreciate after I say it. But I agree with a lot of the last statement you said about your music and stuff, but I'd be very scared of telling someone that before reaching his peak. Okay, why? Because he creates a kind of ego and identity about yourself that you're doing it all right, instead of creating a exploration and journey, the reason you got good at it anyway. Again, you know, it's a continuous thing. It's endless. There's no pinnacle. There's no peak. If you do, you just fall, right? So yeah, don't be too confident. Definitely explore. I'm telling you, the vocal thing goes far reach opera and stuff. If with auto tune and stuff, it's not about the words. It's about the because what is missing there is that one sense, like your mother's love, the nature, that innate nature. When you hear a female's voice, that makes you grasp it. Because otherwise, it's like techno and stuff, and then you kind of place in like Blade and other stuff. But this is great. Like your stuff, we'd play at the parties endlessly. But we can't just sit there and listen to it and appreciate all your production. I'll tell you what, we'd be playing it because that's the good stuff to play while we carry on with our debauchery. You know what I'm saying? And we like the vibe it creates, the love it that is created with the sounds you made. But if you want to send a message, I'm telling you, it takes a message.
And that is one way to listen to music. It's like whereas most people
one
will
of the
take
many,
music
right?
that yeah.
But none of the
Whereas
right.
most people will take music that has no lyrics and they'll listen to it as like they'll take something like this and this will be their background music. They will passively listen to this music.
Yeah.
Whereas I listen to this and I think, what is this person trying to do, trying to say with his fingers on this piano? I am actively listening to this, listening to each stroke in the key, each chord change, each drum, everything, trying to figure out what kind of vibe he's trying to sell.
Like mood and tone. So what would you say and how would you interpret that snippet?
This is, it feels like he's caressing this piano with like love. Like every single touch is so soft, but it feels so like intentional. And I love it.
It's just
this
that'd definitely be something while I'm just working or stuff that I definitely that's definitely my background music.
Yeah. So far to go. This is I think the best example of my philosophy on lyrics. He treats his own voice as another instrument. And yeah, this is my absolute favorite of all time. Like, I know that's kind of like weird, and most people probably couldn't come up with that, but
Dude, Cole and Kanye is my favorite.
the chords, they send me to another level.
Oh, rest in peace, Jay Dilla.
An interesting envelope on the guitar.
I'd honestly say keys are the best instrument, to be honest. There's too much seduction in guitars. Good time.
I see what you mean. That was beautiful.
What a finesse. I went from like the forest to the beach. Yeah.
I am very partial to gospel chords.
It's like you can use bells, you can get a twinkle going. How do you make that an instrument?
Okay, he's using like the effects that a cappella singers might use to use their voice as an instrument, as opposed to trying to vocalize lyrics. Like, what a fantastic idea.
How'd you say that again? Say that again.
Vocalize?
No, your whole statement.
Oh, I can read it back if you'd like.
How do you know? There's too many questions.
He's using the effect that an a cappella singer might use their voice as an instrument, as opposed to trying to vocalize lyrics.
That's a good way to say it all. I like the sense that the lack of exposition is what draws you to the music. Because once you say a word, it's like, we're creating so much scene setting and moving time. But then you also had such a crazy title for something that I felt so differently about. It's great. So like, when you talk to the artist, this is a great opportunity for sometimes. It's like, I don't ever want to meet Kanye and Cole in person. Because I love what they put on the tracks, perfectly fine. You know what I'm saying? But if I asked them to talk about the music and how they feel about it, it wouldn't mesh with mine, and that's where we reach a difference. Like there's, and then you like it less. It's almost hurtful to meet your heroes.
Yeah.
So,
Sometimes.
Ariake, I want to pose a question to you that Chad is asking. Says, so how do you feel about studies that say that we as human beings are only attracted to music and harmony via psychosomatics, a psychosomatic need for our brain to be able to assign staple repetition and structure to otherwise random noises? For instance, if we started banging metal hammers onto construction blocks and concrete blocks randomly, it's construction noise, but if we do it in rhythm, somehow it becomes a percussion ensemble.
Yeah, so I'm gonna show you an example of that exact thing. But okay, I think that makes a lot of sense personally. The part that to me that's very interesting is like keys and being in tone. But like we really think of music as rhythmic sounds, because if I just sit here and bang 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 on the desk, it doesn't really sound like anything until I put it. Let's say I take this sample and I put it into the studio and I put it as like a 4x4 pattern at 110 BPM. Okay, so it's just doom, 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 doom. And then I add in a sound over that. And then I add like some chords over that. And I put really anything can be percussion. And that's actually like one of my favorite things is that I have a very large library of just random sounds that aren't actual like instruments that I use as percussion because I think that it sounds really great. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I don't really think it's easy to disagree with that. Be like, no, I don't think music is just like because we need rhythm. Like the human brain likes patterns. That's pretty common knowledge. We like patterns. That's why pareidolia exists, which is the name of a different song of mine. When we like see patterns in nothing, like the face on the moon, or like
Jesus
bears
in
and
the
clouds.
wood grain, right?
Come again?
Oh, the printer made a music
Oh,
too.
sorry. No. When they see Jesus in the wood grains.
Yeah, stuff like that. And you can even technically look at music as audio pareidolia, because there's no real pattern. But once you put it
In
into
music?
a pattern, you create,
Or audio. What is audio? What was that word? I'm sorry, I had to Google.
Pareidolia.
Pareidolia.
It's when we perceive patterns in things that you don't really have any pattern.
Is that the word for it? Yeah, the human body, like the human mind, constantly fetches for those. It's almost the nuance of love.
So this is the thing where a lot of the sounds just sound like kitchen equipment, but he makes like an entire song out of it. This might actually cover it, but this is all normal synthesizers and stuff. So as you can probably tell in there, a lot of the perks and sounds sound a lot like a kitchen pot. That sound right there sounds like a kitchen pot.
If he made it out of that, I'd be so impressed.
It's a thing that happens all the time. People
All
will,
the time, sound engineering and stuff. How do you think we make sound effects?
So I use a lot of like synthesizers and programs,
You're talking about music.
specifically Serum,
He said one of the songs
Astra, and
he's gonna
Silent
pop
Hill
in.
are the thing that I use the most. They it's,
Who is that? Who are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at my girlfriend laughing at something. 'Cause I'm not really sure what she's laughing at.
Tell your girlfriend to come to the interview. We'd love to meet her and how she feels about your music too.
It's up to her if she's comfortable with that. But
Yeah, get consent. That's the rule.
yeah. So
Yeah, take that in a.
So like this is Serum. There's a bunch of different synthesizers. You can have 2 oscillators at the same time. You can also have a sub oscillator. You can even have your noise and everything.
Yo, full serve his full screen his DAW right now. They need to see this if they're interested. Like learning these tools or finding one, like he's done.
I am going to, at this point, thank our 2 audience members for joining us. I'm going to move you guys back out. I'm at about the 20-minute point for where we start to end our normal interviews. So again, Sadistic, I want to thank you very much for joining us. Do you want to shout yourself out before you go?
No, I absolutely do not. But I want to thank you. Shout ARIAKE out. Yo, support your fam. Plug promo for your dudes.
All right. I appreciate it, Sadistic. I will see you soon. I'm going to move you over to the nightclub with Saxon. And then Red Baron 1, good luck on what you're making over there. Thank you again for joining us, and I will see you again very soon. All right, ARIAKE. Thank you again for being with us. You have made some very interesting artwork. I really like your music. I really like your creative process. I like the things that you are creating. You are very passionate about the things that you're making. I encourage you to continue to improve your work, and I encourage you to find a way, not necessarily to monetize your work, but to, how shall we say, collaborate with more people to build larger and greater projects.
Is that a question? Sorry.
No. That is my charge to you and my encouragement to you. I hope that you continue to build bigger and better things as you go on. But I do think that you have some fantastic work that you have produced. Do you have any last minute things you'd like to clarify? Anything else that you'd like to say to the audience, or anything that you'd like to share with anyone else? Like I say, we do have about 20 minutes left before I normally wrap things up, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of have the stage back to yourself, and to allow me to potentially ask you a couple more questions as we go through things.
Yeah, that's completely fine with me. So, something that I tend to do with music, specifically the drums, like, I remember saying earlier that, like, usually I try to figure out what will go good with this, what drums will go with this. And so a skill I learned to help me do that is beatboxing. I learned how to beatbox so that I could, like, really figure out what sounds are in my head, and it's a lot easier to, like, put things to paper whenever you can actually hear them instead of just, like, hear them in your head. Right?
Sure, definitely.
So, for instance, let me open up the FL Studio again, open up Stargazing. So this Stargazing, we listened to this earlier. So I wanted to know what kick pattern that I would use. And I didn't have this down yet, because I couldn't figure out, like, what kick pattern I wanted to use with this sound.
Right, because you could do anything almost.
But I had an idea in my head, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna roll with that idea. So I was like, what would sound good with this? And I was like, okay, well, I can put that into the track. So I did, and then now we have our kicks. So that's one thing that a lot of people could do to, like, to like learn how to make music. That's what I did. All that fun stuff. Putting stuff together is like 90% of music.
Right, no, it kind of, you're layering things together, you kind of start out, you feel a thing, you have something internal, and then you're figuring out essentially how to use the tools that you have in front of you to bring it into reality.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. And it's kind of a collaborative process in that you're listening to other people, listening to what other people are making, and then comparing notes with other people to like figure out how to use your tools better.
Mm-hmm. That's like the thing that we did in like the little mini community we had on Soundation. All of our like friends, we would come up with sounds. We would work on sounds, and we would like share them with each other, and share like all the things that we learned. For instance, these are 2 sounds that I fashioned, I created, that are now like normal use for a lot of people. And so I would share the way to create this sound with others, and then they would use that in their own tracks, and they'd use them differently than I would do them, and I think that's incredible.
Very good. Yeah, no, the collaborative effort I think is very important. That's a lot of the goal of my channel here. I want to get artists onto my Discord, which I'm going to plug the link again, by the way, and have artists collaborate with one another, work together to make better things. I want to have musicians meeting with other musicians and helping musicians, and meeting with marketing people and meeting with people that do mixing and mastering, and I want to put together events, and I want to have everybody doing everything all together so that everybody can benefit and create the best art. Like, to tell you the gosh darn truth, my content, while it's halfway decent, there's 13 of you guys here enjoying us at the moment from what the numbers all say at the tops and the bottoms of my screens. But my real goal is to have the people like you come on here and share your music, share your art with everyone else, and then collaborate with the other people that you meet through the community, and then hopefully make better art in the future.
Mm-hmm. That'd be sick. I'd love to meet some of the people. If there are any other people that make music, I'd love to like work with them and trade ideas, trade words,
well,
trade skills.
In that case, I encourage you and everybody else to join the Discord. Like I say, there is a link in the chat. Go to the Smart Art sections, share some of the work that you produce. If you go in there and you see some work that someone else has produced and you're curious how to do it, you like the things that they've made, tell them that you like it. Tell them that you're interested in how they made it. Tell them that you're interested in making something similar and that you might be interested in collaborating with them. And just see where things go. One of my other axioms that I am trying to share with everybody is to ask people for help when you need things. Ask people to give you things when you want them, because you'll never know what can happen. You'd never know that Jade the Green wanted to give you money for your music unless you'd come on here to share it with you. You'd never know that I needed some music for my Be Right Back intermission, and people would never know that you were such a talented musician had you not come on the show today. So again, I want to encourage everybody else to come on the show, to take the same opportunity that ARIAKE has taken to come on here to share their work with us, to do what they're doing, and then also join the community. Come and interact with the rest of us. Come and meet ARIAKE. He's in the Discord. He is going to share his work with us. And yes, anyway, ARIAKE, thank you again for joining us today. Do you have anything else that you'd like to say? Anything else you'd like to share with us?
I do have a surprise, a closing statement performance.
I'm excited.
So, earlier, it was actually really funny that he was talking about this. Earlier, one of the people in here was talking about like acapella. They're talking about like making noise, making sounds with the mouth, with your voice, that aren't necessarily singing. And as I said earlier, I am a beatboxer, so I'd like to do like a little freestyle, a little thing to close things out, because I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think that's one of my other passions.
I love it. Let's hear it. I'm excited. I'm extremely excited. That's all I can say about it.
Okay, so I'll start out with some percussion, and I'll build up from there. I guess I don't really do routines often. I'm just mainly a freestyle kind of guy, but we'll see where it takes me. All right, undo this. It's kind of tight. All right.
Still not following.
Oh my god, that was
I
incredible!
was a little surprised, yeah.
Oh my god, that was epic! Oh my, holy Hannah, why? What are you doing with the DAW, my friend? We need to put the vocals. That needs to go on top of the other thing or underneath the other thing, or something needs to happen with. Holy Hannah, that was incredible.
Thank you.
I could.
Thank you.
I'm flabbergasted. I could never. Oh my gosh, if I could listen to these things all dadgum day long, that's what I'd be hearing. This sounded like some. I don't know. It was incredible. I don't even know how to describe it or what to say about it other than thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us, because you've brightened my day, friend.
Thank you. I was going to say something about it the other day when we were talking about me coming on the show, but I decided, you know what? I'm going to keep it a secret because I think it'd be a lot more fun to experience first time on stream.
It was definitely shocking. I was not expecting it, to say the least. I knew that you were musically talented, but I hate to say it, with the comments that you made on vocalization earlier, I was not expecting it at all. Holy heck, what an impressive skill. What an impressive skill. I do understand where this would help you in your music production endeavors, however. Man, that was awesome.
There's a lot of crazy beatboxers out there that are way beyond me, and there's a lot of people who are a bit under me, to be frank, but that's just because I've put a lot of time and work into it. And like, again, really anybody can learn this stuff. You just start with boots and cats. You start with boots and cats, and then you can move on to some other stuff. You can add like a melody under there. And that's just humming. That's like the very basic level of beatboxing. That's pretty much stuff anybody can do.
Humming and clicking simultaneously. I mean, it makes total sense. These are totally different parts of the vocal production area operating simultaneously. But man, I could never imagine. Good gravy. I'll have to practice in the shower when I'm. Hold on. Nope, there ain't nothing in there. But no, how intriguing, how intriguing. nope, nothing's coming out. I'm really, really trying. I swear to good gravy. I'm like, hey, let's make a noise with your mouth here. But nope, I can't even get the boots or the cats to occur any longer. It's all busted up. You've busted me, Ariake. You busted me.
Busted your unmentionables.
I suppose. Gee willikers, digitally speaking. Well, what a great place to close it on, I suppose. Ariake, again, we have links in the chat. We have a link tree or a face link. Oh, I even see a Twitch link up there, so go drop a link on It's Ariake on Twitch. Apparently, he has content that he produces. Go find him on SoundCloud. Go listen to his music. Try to convince him in the Discord to create a way to throw money at him so that we can throw money at him in other various ways. Because, gee willikers, I want to encourage you to make more of the things that you're already making, because the things that you're making are fantastic, my friend.
Well, thank you very much. That's very nice to hear. Validation is always welcome.
Ariake, have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you again for joining us, and I look forward to having another chat with you at another time, potentially about another subject. But for now, take good care of yourself, friend.
I definitely will try. Thank you. Have a nice stream.
Good night. Bye-bye now. All right, everybody.